Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What's going on, Chip?
What's
Man,
going on?
what is going on, people? So, we've been talking about airdrops, talking about the exchanges, trying to figure out whether or not the exchanges actually owe a duty to every user of said exchange for every single airdrop that occurs, or are they out there for their own gain? That's just a little fraction of what we want to talk about tonight. There are so many other topics. And for one, the president of El Salvador gets into it. He's 1-0 against some idiot econ professor, and it gets a little hilarious. So, Chip, if you're ready to kick this thing off,
Let's
I'm
go.
ready to go. Let's go.
Do it.
Welcome to On the Chain.
All right, what's up, Scotland?
What's up? Good to have everybody in here. Drop in the city and the country where you guys are coming into, because it's an international audience. We are one giant team. We are Team Crypto. We all have our favorites, but we all win when crypto wins. So we will get there, and we will get there together, right, Jeff?
Well said.
Yeah,
well
we're gonna
said.
go.
I think we can wrap up the show now.
All right, let's go. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, Jeff. Let's get into this. I love this takedown. This Bukele,
volcanic power.
He doesn't pull any. He doesn't really pull any punch. He doesn't hold back here. So Nayib Bukele. So this is Steve Hanke. He's actually former. He actually was in the Reagan and White House.
Yep.
He's director. He's an economist. That's always fun. It's like, well, what do you do as an economist? Well, I don't know.
He's not actually a professor, but
yeah, well, he's a senior fellow director. Troubled Currencies Project, the Cato Institute. We know that all too well, Jeff. And
he's got an outstanding background.
He does.
He's like a who's who in economics, and so it's kind of hilarious when he gets into this little tweet battle.
But a lot of it has to do with understanding. And again, this is what we come into with almost everything we talk about here, Jeff. It's like dealing with Congress, having the understanding, just some simple stuff. But he puts out this tweet. Nayib Bukele's proposed, and of course he calls himself the CEO of El Salvador. He's the president, but he calls himself the CEO. The proposed Bitcoin city is as prepared as Florida is for snow. Jeff, he's already off the rails with the first comment there.
Man, well, that's because we're prepared for snow.
Jeff, we're always prepared, especially northern Florida. We always know it's coming. It happens once in a while. Blue moon.
It just snowed this year too in northern Florida. So
it did, yeah.
There you go. But that's kind of off the rails. That's such a, out of left field kind of, just unnecessary, smackdown of the president. He's just jabbing him. It's kind of like a sucker punch, out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then he says the advertised power source for the city is an inactive volcano. This is just one more attention-grabbing antics from a narcissistic president who is full of, hot air, right? I mean, that's what he's really saying, right?
That's exactly what he's saying, and it's so ridiculous. It's like, why come out and even, what's his purpose for this? It's just like, and so the response is just outstanding. I mean, you gotta love the response here.
Well, this is the investigative report on Bitcoin in El Salvador. It's just another one of these. I'm not even sure that he read, what are the problems with Bitcoin City and, Anita Posh versus the Chivo wallet. It's just like a sort of a takedown, really heavy critiqued article hammering El Salvador. So after this tweet right here, then we come back with Nayib Bukele says this guy. Of course, it's an inactive volcano, you idiot. An ID10T, which I love. Back in the days, when you'd have the, you would say, well, what's the error? Well, it's an ID10T error. And if you look at ID10T, you could actually see what it is, right? It's idiot, right? Most geothermal power is extracted from wells near inactive volcanoes. Why would you build a city below an active volcano? Oh, just the smackdown, Jeff.
I mean, right off the bat, the advertised power. I mean, it's so absurd that here's a and what's crazy about it is that he's a very, well studied economist. Like we said, he's the who's who kind of in his career. Why do you come out and make such a stupid accusation to
Well, this
begin
has
with?
this has nothing to
And
do with
why?
economics.
Right, it doesn't, but that you would just make some assumption here, and obviously, when you assume anything, you're just making an ass out of you and me, But so we don't want to assume anything, right? But here, that's what he's doing, and it's bizarre. It's kind of
Yeah,
bizarre antics on Twitter that maybe he feels like he should pull that back, but why? I mean, this is
but
just
no,
going to like a
he goes.
so that
But
let's
Jeff,
see
he
his
goes all
response.
in. It's like, no, he doubles down. He goes, well, how much energy can you extract from an inactive Chancua volcano? Where's the feasibility study? So here's an economist who wants a feasibility study, right? So if Bukele all of a sudden says, well, here you go, here's your feasibility study. It doesn't need a feasibility study. El Salvador already has an enormous energy deficit and imports 22% of its electricity use. Without a feasibility study, no one knows how Bitcoin City will affect this deficit. So now he's going. This is a classic. This is a classic type of an argument too, where instead of saying, "Oh, I was unaware that you dug wells near an inactive volcano and that's how you harness the power," no, he's got to be like, "Well, where's the feasibility study?" And there's already an enormous deficit. Now, where did the deficit the conversation come from? It wasn't what the topic at hand was. He's hammering him about the fact that they import 22% of its electricity. Well, it doesn't stop there, Jeff. Nayib
And maybe it
Bukele,
does, maybe it doesn't, and that's not even relevant. What's
not
the
at
only
all.
thing that's relevant here is that they've made they've looked at a mechanism to implement Bitcoin and where they don't have to worry about, putting any additional hardship on their power grid, and they're able to tap resources that are geothermal, and that was the whole point.
He's getting closer to 589 though, Jeff, and the following. But look at that. I love
Oh,
how he
look at
does
that.
that. He puts CEO of El Salvador. He's business minded, right? So he's all about business, calls himself the CEO of El Salvador. So he comes back, okay, ID 10T, which again is idiot. I'm going to school you again, not because it's going to be for you, since you're just getting paid to attack Bitcoin and defend fiat, but because the people deserve to know you are a fraud.
Wow.
Boom. It's like El Salvador doesn't have an energy deficit. In fact, we can produce twice the energy that we consume. Maximum energy consumption in El Salvador is 1,000 megawatts, while the installed capacity is able to produce 2,000 megawatts from the sources. Ingenios is a waste from sugarcane. Then he puts up this little chart right here. So he shows you,
Petro, Geo.
yeah, you can see, there's what he's talking about right over here. Then he goes, the reason we're still import energy is because we are part of the regional open market, cites the source the same way the other guy did, Hanky did. He goes, and then energy producers in other countries still beat some of our producers in price. This is going to change in a few months. So he puts this up, which is, his
Regional electric market.
regional electric market. He says, at the beginning of my presidency, we started construction of a natural gas power plant by a private consortium that was Invenergy.com. It's a $1 billion project that will generate 380 megawatts of electricity 24/7, cleaner and cheaper than other producers in the region. So now he's backing it up with facts. Here's what we're doing. Here's where we're going. Of course, that's in Spanish right there. And there it is when he's
There's the
basically christening.
plant.
There's the plant right there, and he's going on about it. And with this, instead of importing energy, we'll be exporting it, and at the same time make the old power plants with dirty and expensive energy obsolete. Take down, Jeff. The plant will start producing energy this May. In case you were wondering about your feasibility study, there, Steve Hanke. Actually, we just welcomed the new terminal, BW Tatiana, a couple of weeks ago, and then of course he puts that there. There you go. There's the citing everything with sources and everything. You can Google BW Tatiana. Maybe you'll learn a little bit about energy, a topic you certainly know nothing about. But that's not all.
my
We're
God.
also building a new water dam that will soon generate an extra 66 megawatts of clean, renewable energy on the northern part of San Miguel.
This is
There
not
it is
real.
right there, Jeff. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. This guy's not sitting back. He's, for this tiny country, they're making stuff happen. There's the dam. It's going to build, it's going to, clean energy. So he just cited 2 sources of clean energy that are gearing up this year. With this, we will export energy to our neighbors. But let's talk about volcanoes. El Salvador is the smallest country in the American continent, aside from the islands, with only 21,000 km2. However, that's small. It has more than 170 volcanoes. And that's insane, Jeff. And we've been
A lot of
harnessing
volcanoes.
Can you imagine that? The tiniest country outside of the islands, and it has 170 volcanoes. And we've been harnessing some power from them for more than half a century. Look at that right there, man. Just some breathtaking imagery. But we've dug new wells, and we're planning to increase our geothermal production by a lot. Only this well I tweeted about some months ago will produce 95 megawatts of clean, cheap, and renewable energy from a source that's going to last at least a couple of million years. Jeff, you got to love that. A couple of million years, if you can fathom that.
Cheap and renewable.
And I remember we actually talked about this here on the chain. Our engineers just informed me they dug this new well. Will provide approximately 95 megawatts, blah, blah, blah. And remember that? There's the steam blowing off of the well there.
Well, look at right above that. He's saying they're starting to design a full Bitcoin mining hub around that specific source. And that's it. I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
It's pure water vapor.
You would really have to say, here's a president of an emerging economy over in El Salvador, and they have a plan not just for a proper renewable, power solution that doesn't tax their grid, but actually adds significant value and puts them in an export position. But they're also taking advantage and leveraging the power to mine Bitcoin and maintain Bitcoin as part of their economy and part of their overall growth cycle. That to me, he's really thinking outside the box. And eventually they'll find that, hey, you know what, we have to expand on Bitcoin. But hey, you know what? I mean, he's really putting, the right foot forward.
Hey, look at this, Jeff. Shout out to Brandon Butler. He says, hey, I just wanted to drop by and say I love On the Chain. I watch every morning as part of my wake-up routine. Thanks for great, honest reporting on crypto and XRP news. Thank you for that, Brandon.
That.
And I love to hear that,
That's
too.
awesome.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Appreciate the support. Good you're catching it live. Probably it's late for you. You'd probably be headed off soon. And that's well said, Jeff. I mean, look at that pure water vapor coming out. Just beautiful sight. So far, we've dug 4 of them. We're planning to put some of the excess energy into Bitcoin mining and the initial powering of Bitcoin City. But what about the inactive Concagua volcano? There's this is a
drone over there.
Yeah, so we sent a drone to film one of the new wells. Nice rainbow, Bitcoin mining with the power of volcanoes. Let's watch this one. Look at that rainbow. That's pretty cool looking.
That's pretty sweet. Right off the water.
So you see all the mist there, and you see the blowing off the mist, and that's a beautiful drone shot right there, especially with that moving rainbow. Very nice. He goes on to say we've got a 90% chance of finding at least a plus 42 megawatt well, enough to power all of Bitcoin City there, Steve. And if the city grows far more than expected, good problem to have, then we can still use 95 megawatt plant that we're building for the initial powering. Slam. Those are some serious throat punches right there, Jeff. Right?
I mean, it's amazing.
This is a president, and this is the thing. Well, this is part of it too. This is youth. This guy's young. I think he's 39 or 40 years old.
But he knows his stuff. He probably went to the experts also and said, "Hey, we need to get this information together."
You got to get him on the chain, Jeff.
Oh yeah, we definitely got to reach out to him. It'd be awesome to have him on. We'll have to go through the appropriate channels, but he would be outstanding to have on the show. And it's interesting too, because if you look at the guy that started this whole thing, he's used to, the way, politics are over here, especially now where most of these guys don't know anything. You go to our Congress, and they're just so naive about pretty much any topic. And it goes right up to the administration, where they're pretty clueless on most current topic. Especially if you were to ask them anything about energy consumption, they'd be they wouldn't be able to answer to this extent.
Yeah, and then let's see what did I say. Oh, XRP OG says, Chip, I know you saw my message. Actually, I didn't. I saw this message though, not the one you wanted me to see, but I did see this one. Yeah, it's pretty sad, Jeff. They're reporting that Bob Saget, Danny Tanner from Full House has passed
at the
away
Ritz-Carlton
at age 65, and it was in the middle of the night. It was like 4 a.m. this morning. I don't know, something weird happened.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate. He was a great comedian, Jeff. Funny comedian. Have you ever seen his stand-up? But good stuff. Just a great all-around guy. So it's pretty sad. Then he goes on to I put up some charts and talks about some of the power plants and some graphs and charts and all that. Of course, it's in Spanish. So the inactive Concagua volcano is perfect to power Bitcoin City, but of course we picked that one from the 170 we have. Steve-O Hank, whatever.
He should put that in there.
Why for the view? Look at these views, Jeff. He chose it for the view. This is the greatest smackdown I've ever seen, Jeff. And this is a president smacking them down, throw punches
left and right. And this guy should just leave his whole Twitter account. Just resign at this point.
This is fantastic.
It's a nice view.
It's just a beautiful thing, Jeff. My gosh, it's just incredible. So anyway, it's like really nice. I mean, again, if you're
Did Steve ever respond back, or can you check and see if his Twitter account is still active? I mean, if you do the right thing, you just
let's see if he did something.
Shut it down and then say that's it. I'm not commenting anymore. That's one smackdown too many.
Well, he lives in Baltimore and Paris, according to his.
Paris. How nice.
Yeah, there you are. So there it is, right there. So there's his profile right there. Economist, John Hopkins, blah blah blah. See, it says Baltimore and Paris. So I guess he pretty much lives between the two. It's then he's like going out to the Turkish lira and everything else.
Oh God. Of course.
This is a good, interesting quote. If we open a quarrel between the past and present, we shall find that we have lost the future. Winston Churchill.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I don't see anything. Look at this @chain. That's beautiful. In Nigeria. Okay, let's see. Sri Lanka. I don't know. This guy's all over the place. Who knows? I don't even know if he's Kazakhstan.
Maybe he's not even the one writing his own tweets.
Well, apparently, Jeff, finds it necessary to comment on everything that's going on in the world just to share it. So here's Myanmar and fleeing Myanmar, migrating to Thailand to escape poverty. And then he's talking more criticism of the Turkish lira. Oh no, a wave. This is funny.
That's hilarious.
That
is funny.
That's some funny stuff.
My God,
holy cats, Jeff. That
is hilarious.
Yeah, there's another one. I think we should let's see. Let me bring this other one up too, because it's kind of like in line with this one. Let's see if I can find. Let's see. Oh gosh. Okay, here it is right here. I'm gonna have to share it and then read. Anyway, I don't really think so. It's in Spanish, so you don't really need to see it. It's more of a visual than anything else. But again, this whole conversation, Steve's there. Hankey's trying to defend fiat currency, and then if we look at this right here, this is from Wall Street Silver. It says coming to a currency near you. This is Venezuela, but just all you have to watch is just a video. Guys walking along, and all you see are banknotes just littered all across the it's just everywhere, Jeff. It's insane. And as he walks along, it's just like he wouldn't even bother to pick it up. Now the best part is he's going to walk up to bills that are stacked. Now if these were hundreds or 20s, you would be killing somebody to get to them.
It looks like somebody robbed the bank and they were trying to make a getaway.
Thousand Venezuelan pesos. Just useless.
Where is he?
This is Venezuela.
Completely useless.
Completely useless. Venezuela. But you see the big bills? No one even wants them, Jeff. That's a stack of hundreds. There's a stack of thousands. Just they still have the rubber band on them. Just nobody wants them.
Well, this is probably all the old currency too. Before they cut off all the zeros, that's why they're out there.
But the guy's laughing about it.
Completely unusable.
Yeah, and commenting
Yeah.
in Spanish. It's just it's pretty funny. It's
Man,
pretty
that economy crashed and burned. Hey, you know what? We've been talking a lot about crypto. And we're going to get into the exchange thing and provide some commentary on the airdrops as well. But Chip, what do you think about we've talked a little bit about Eric Adams moving in as mayor
yeah.
in New York City, and if you contrast him with the mayor in Miami or the mayor in Tampa, mayor in Miami is actually doing things in Miami to make sure that the economy of Miami is growing, is expanding. He's implementing, crypto into the economic growth of Miami from a positive perspective. And
Yes.
then all of a sudden, Eric Adams comes to the stage and he says, I'm going to take my first paycheck in Bitcoin, right? And
Hmm.
he tries to be really Mr. Cool, right? And so then the mayor of Miami and mayor in Tampa, they come back and say, well, we'll do the same thing. Then he ups the ante and said he's going to take his first 3 paychecks in
I know,
Bitcoin.
it's ridiculous.
So now we're just having, kind of a battle of stupidity, right? Because it's not about whether or not you're going to take your paycheck in Bitcoin, but because at the end of the day, who gives a crap? I don't care if you get 1 paycheck or, 10 paychecks in Bitcoin. What are you doing as mayor of the city to make sure that you have economic growth in your for your constituents? And what are you going to do to make things better economically for the crypto space? Now, the mayor of Miami, Mayor Suarez, didn't say a damn thing when he came into office. He didn't say, I'm going to take my paycheck in Bitcoin. He
No.
came in and quietly started rolling things out to bring digital asset and blockchain into the economy in Miami. He did it. And, little by little, they started to report on it. But here you have this mayor. And so one of the things, Chip, that you and I talk about, and I brought this up yesterday, is that you can't look at everything in a vacuum because you have to look at everything they do, right?
Right.
So over the weekend, he doubles down on the fact that they want 800,000 non-citizens of the U.S. to vote in regional elections in New York City. So I don't care if this guy is the greatest supporter of cryptocurrency known to man. The fact that he wants to undermine the sovereignty of this country by allowing people that don't belong here to vote is just ridiculous, right? I mean,
Horrible,
it's
Jeff.
stupidity at this point. But not only is it stupid from that perspective, but this whole pissing match over taking a paycheck in Bitcoin. And so what? He takes 3 paychecks. Who cares? Is he going to keep it and hold the Bitcoin? Is he going to immediately have it converted into dollars? What's going to happen with it? And why did he feel the need to come out and make that statement when he was getting elected at that point in time when crypto is kind of like the hot topic right now?
Well, but Jeff, we have the same thing going on with the challenger to the governor here, talking about, cryptocurrency and it's going to be fantastic and everything else. It's another buzzword to throw out there, but there's no real concern. There's no real action around it. And again, it's just another Eric Adams, thinly veiled pretend support for something. And nobody cares. I'm pretty sure nobody in New York or Miami really cares that the mayors take their paycheck when many people aren't getting a
It's
paycheck,
irrelevant.
whether they get it in Bitcoin or fiat. They just don't care. What they do care about is how the city is going to survive and how the city is going to thrive and how you're going to conduct fair and open elections. But there's a reason. I mean, and the funny part about that is, do you think Mexico lets non-citizens vote in elections? Do you think Canada? Do you think any country in the world allows that? I mean, why would they? I mean, you think that Australia allows it? I mean, Japan? England, come on, Jeff. I
Nowhere.
mean, it's a silly thing, and you're like, well, I mean, what's going on in the U.S.? What is going on? 800,000 people, and what do they like to vote for? Usually free things, right? They usually like to vote. So, and that is just probably the worst case ever of pandering you could ever imagine. The whole thing is pandering. It's shallow, it's feckless, and it's pathetic.
Right. What's up, XRP OG? He
XRP
wants to know that
OG.
XRP
Well,
OG.
but Jeff,
He keeps saying, do you see something? I haven't seen what he's posted.
Yeah, maybe put something up there. I haven't really seen it, but Jeff, here's another thing that I wanted to talk about. This, right on the subject of Miami. So, which I find to be pretty interesting. If you look, let's just look at this headline right here, and it's kind of like what you were talking about. But just look at this, and let's look here. And to add to what you were saying, the race to be the crypto hotspot heats up in Miami and New York. No, it doesn't. It heats up in Miami. What's behind the
there's
crypto?
no race.
There's no race.
There's zero race. Zero.
Right. There's no race going on. I mean, no one embraces
it's Miami.
This whole article is just ridiculous. First of all, they got this. Did you know Suarez was a Republican, Jeff?
Yeah, the last I checked, I think he's not.
Correct. He's not. So this whole Xavier Suarez. Oh, this is Xavier Suarez. Okay, the former mayor was. Yeah, Xavier was. That was from 2009 to 2017, and now we have Francis. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So then,
okay, gotcha.
We already have Miami-Dade County is basically Silicon South. I mean, it already is. I mean, there's just no doubt about it.
It says there Suarez, a Republican, is the son of former Miami Mayor Xavier
Suarez. Right. That's it.
So was Xavier Suarez the Republican?
Yeah, Xavier Suarez is the Republican.
So his dad.
And Francis Suarez, yeah, that's the father. So
and Francis is the son.
Correct.
So the son kind of took over. It's crazy. We're here. I don't really follow.
Yeah, no. Well, it's
follow the local elections of Miami.
Okay, this guy's like, okay, hear me out. What if we move Silicon Valley to Miami? And Francis Suarez is like, well, how can I help? So, there's Eric Adams isn't even in the conversation. He was like, Bitcoin, gets elected and basically extends the policies of the previously horrendous mayor. But the tech industry took him seriously, leads in job migration, 15% year-over-year growth, while San Francisco's minus 35%, New York City's minus 18%. Jeff, the race is over. Okay. The race is
Xavier Suarez. Xavier's his middle name.
Yeah.
So it says here, wait, he's a registered Republican, but the office city Miami mayor is nonpartisan. That's on Wikipedia. Is this accurate?
I don't think so. Maybe I've got it wrong.
It says here that he's a Republican, but I honestly, I mean, maybe it's possible. It's bizarre because the last time I checked, I thought that he was a Democrat.
But it is a nonpartisan office, so I don't think they really.
But he's registered Republican. How did I miss that? I don't know how I've missed this whole time. We're going through this whole time.
Jeff, look, it's really there's a lot.
Read about him, looked it up, and that's the one thing that I've overlooked. So hey, this is good.
Right. So one of the overt signs Miami crypto enthusiasm was the launch of Miami Coin in August. Miami Coin is the token with Miami name and branding. It's also operated by an independent organization, City Coins. It goes on to talk about City Coins and how much value it's deriving for the, so Miami Coin is generated for the city over $22 US as of January 6th, Jeff. By the way, explain to me how, again, there's a race going on with New York.
Well, the only race that's going on in New York right now is how many people are fleeing New York City for southern states. That's the only race that's going on. The race is actually between California and New York to see who can leave the fastest, and who can buy homes in southern states first. That's really what it's all about. I mean, it's just and look at astonishing. It really is.
Jeff, look at the criticism. Eric Adams, he says, wants Bitcoin payments as New York City mayor. Jason Furman says, not only is this bad economic strategy for New York City and a bad investment decision, it seems like a conflict of interest, like a mayor announcing, I'm buying a lot of Amazon stock, and I'm going to put it in places to policies to benefit Amazon. Right. It's kind of what you brought up. It's a little thin thinking, and like nobody cares really about that. But now if you start attracting businesses because you're open for crypto and you have your own Miami coin, that's what people want to hear. Mayor Francis Suarez says, don't listen to the haters. If you want to think big, invest in your future, create a life for your family, bring your talents to Miami. Thank you to PitchBook for illustrating the Miami movement. So here we go right here. Here's 234 VC venture capital deals, 30% over 2020. 3.5 billion invested, 45% over 2018. And then you got 2.5 billion total investment. That's 72 venture capital deals. You can see the chart. It's going right up. New York, DOA, Jeff. And then it, so
Man,
it, it's
nothing. New York City's a net loss, and all those people, they're gonna stay up there, and it's interesting, so they, we don't mind if people, leave New York City and come down here and they want to build in Miami and they want to buy the real estate. I don't like the idea that, this massive rush is going to drive real estate prices, and have them skyrocket down here in the South. It's not bad to have, good value in real estate, but it's not good, for it to skyrocket and get out of control like it was, or it is, or was in New York City or California as an example, where you get a 1,200 square foot house for $1 million. I'm not really down with that.
Toronto also,
Yeah,
Jeff.
yeah,
Shack.
Toronto as well. But you want to come down here, leave your politics at the door. Don't bring the stupid politics that destroyed your cities and your state. Come down here, like Mayor Suarez gets it. He's building an economic powerhouse in Miami to make it welcoming for more crypto and blockchain business. It's business friendly. And that is the narrative for all of Florida. Florida is business friendly. It's crypto friendly. It's blockchain friendly, as is Texas. And it really makes a big impact on the future and the future direction that everything's moving in.
Exactly,
Welcome
Jeff. Well
to
said.
Miami.
Darcy says, welcome to Miami. Of course, Will Smith famously said, welcome to Miami. But I want to show this one too. Now we're on a Miami theme. This is also other good stuff. So Indian Bronson at Indian_Bronson says, the other thing is that Miami's developers are allowed to go full on SimCity 2000 / Blade Runner / Neo Tokyo now.
What is going on? Exactly.
Look at this. These are planned and existing buildings in the city, Jeff.
It's insane. I know. It's
this
crazy.
is some cool stuff. Let's go full screen on this stuff if we can. Let's go full screen and look at that. Look at that beautiful beast. It's funny. It's like the renderings have gotten so good. Look at that. I mean, it's like,
well, you know what, man? I'll tell you what. Look at that. You go to Dubai, you go to other countries, and the buildings, the amount of money and the architecture is just awe-inspiring. And so if we're going to do anything great, let's do it. Let's do it right here in Miami.
Damn right. Now, Jeff, look at this. Now, this is the comment. So Bobby Goodlot said 3/4 of those are done or soon to be done. This is the coolest one yet. Look at this thing,
Look at
Jeff.
that.
He says, although my current place is Miami's better, it's actually the picture I posted. He goes, we're even going blockchain. Look, that's a building that looks like it has a bunch of blocks sitting there, Jeff.
Looks like a stack of dice.
Right?
That's really
He's
cool.
like, Miami's going all in on blockchain, even with the buildings. I mean, look at this thing. This thing is pretty cool. That's the new Waldorf Astoria Hotel. The residences will be on the top of that, and then it'll also be a hotel on the bottom ones. But look at awesome. and the views are insane. He says his place in Miami is better. It's actually somewhere in the picture, so he's somewhere along the lines over here. But just a fantastic.
Well, we got Fort Lauderdale is doing some unique things. We've got Hollywood doing some unique things. And we also have the Hard Rock Casino that is shaped like a guitar and is impressive. And they have a 24-hour-a-day laser that shoots up in the sky, which is pretty cool.
That's fun to watch at night if you see that. It's I always like driving by it because it's always like full. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of that, the Hard Rock. This is what it looks like. It's pretty cool. I wish the neck went all the way up, but there you go, right there. There's a Seminole Hard Rock Casino. So you see the guitar. You see the guitar there, and it lights up and changes in colors, and it's pretty cool, man. You can see it's always different colors, and it's just it's a nice, beautiful casino inside. There it is. Right, there's another pit. It's what it looks like during the day. You see, it has like the strings on it.
Yeah.
And it's just a really,
there we go.
Really awesome.
See if I can put that. Can't really see it, but. Look at that.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah, so that's
a nice picture I took. But anyhow, all right. Well, that's enough.
Enough about Miami. I think we really crushed it on the Miami thing, right?
The key here is that bring all the big blockchain and crypto projects to Miami. That's our point here. It's all good stuff. You're welcome.
That is the point. And then look, somebody sent this to us, and I wanted to put this in here too because Propy. Which is another company I follow really closely, and I've had the chance to talk with their leadership team when they first started. And people are like, bro, I mean, this is a dumb idea. Of course, Tampa, where summer lasts 6 months twice a year, is best selling. So what happened is the first Tampa real estate NFT market here is taken off. And Propy said, as a best-selling author, Michael Conley said, I instantly fell in love with the city. It's somewhere between a big city, small town. You get the feeling of both. Why Tampa will be 2022's hottest market for real estate. And Jeff, when we were down there in Miami at Bitcoin 2022, we had a chance to talk with the mayor a little bit, and she is just on fire when it comes to cryptocurrency and embracing it. And again, just the attitude and the excitement about the whole thing is just outstanding to watch.
Yeah, it's crazy. The more we get into this space and you start looking at real world application of NFT, of this potential metaverse, some of the things that you could orchestrate with it. But the NFT space, I think, is just kind of, taunting the reality of what NFT can be. And to me, it's all about property. That's an ownership of property. It could be real property. It could be whatever it could end up being. But in the real estate world, obviously you need, title of that property and so much more. But imagine if you're able to put this all into an NFT, it changes, and you know more about this than I do, but it could change the way property ownership is registered and tracked, and could simplify it to a point where, your deed of ownership, you don't need to go through a lot of the other, hoops and everything that you need to do to turn over a deed. If it's an NFT, I could easily transfer ownership over to you. But the thing is that when I own it, I own it. And you
Exactly.
can bake all these other, products that are floating out there. Wait till, Flare gets, full blown into smart contracts. But even as it exists right now, imagine if you're able to utilize some sort of liquidity, as a loan mechanism in real estate, to start taking out, low interest loans on that real estate. Or if you're able to stake your crypto asset, against a mortgage, so you don't have to worry about credit approvals and mortgage companies and all these other things. You can orchestrate so much of it, and here you go. Here's your NFT, and what you can document, through blockchain, transfer of ownership. It's just it's so cool. It's so cool.
So Jeff, look at this. So this is the residences at the Waldorf Astoria. So it's a studio apartment from 516 square feet to 635 starts at around $700,000. A one bedroom between just under 1,000 square feet starts at 1.1. Cube 5, which is above level 50. 1,500 to 1,900 square feet, that starts at 3 million. 3 bedrooms, you got up to 4.4 and 4 million. That'll net you right around $5 million. 3,200 square foot, it's pretty good size for about $5 million. And that's what it is now, but who knows what it's going to be 5 years from now. I mean,
Let's
but
do
I
it.
mean, if you want to live right in Miami and just have a great view and look like a bunch of blocks there, it's pretty amazing right there, this whole thing.
Sweet.
Yeah, Jeff, I think we should talk about why don't we talk a little bit about the exchanges and the airdrops?
Let's do that.
And I want to hear your thoughts
Let's
on
do
that as we jump into that. And because the thumbnail we had, well, dude, where's my airdrop?
Dude, where's my airdrop? And this, we're hearing this a lot. It's not just from Gary, but we're seeing a lot of Twitter rants about, dude, where's my airdrop? What happened to it? And so here's the question. That I want to pose. Do exchanges have a duty to their clients or their subscribers that are holding their digital assets on that exchange and buying and selling digital assets on that exchange? Does every exchange have a specific duty to then accept and participate in every single airdrop? That's the first part of the question. The second part of it is, if they are accepting the airdrop, so they're getting distribution of the airdrop, but they don't distribute it to their users, to the clients or the subscribers or those that are buying and selling on their platform? Do they still owe a duty, and is it different? Are they then obligated to distribute those tokens that were airdropped, mainly because those airdrops are coming to the exchange directly because of the amount of asset that's being held on their exchange? So, two parts of the question, Chip. So, the first part, let's address it first. Does the exchange have a direct duty? Forget the other part right now. Do they have a duty to participate in these exchanges?
That's a tough. Well, I kind of have to break it down from there, right? Do they have a duty to participate in this? Well, I think when they went on the record prior to the announcement of the drops and the exchanges signed up, like for example, let's look at just the one of the earliest ones, which happened in 2020, which was the Flare Spark. That was going to be the drop. The exchanges have said they would participate. I believe Coinbase was one of them, Uphold, BitTrue, just a bunch of them. There was a whole bunch of exchanges that said, yes, we will participate. Now, along the way, Flare came out and said, well, we want to launch a Canary testnet and we want to stress test the system before we go live. So we're going to do an interim drop with Songbird. And a lot of people got angry because some of the exchanges, they didn't participate. Well, what people I think fail to realize is that there's a lot of resources and time and energy that has to go into making these and distributing them and make sure everything's done right. There's a lot of accounting behind it as well. And again, that it's a lot of time and energy to put into that, but they already said yes to the Flare airdrop. Now, they didn't say yes to, because the problem is that a lot of these tokens have, if you hold this token, then you get this airdrop and this airdrop. An exchange's responsibility is not to do man airdrops, right? To sit there and figure out how many airdrops they're going to do. So that's the first part of it. The second part of it is when you have like something like XFi, like for example, Uphold is participating not only with the Flare, with the Spark token, not only did they participate with the Songbird token, which they kind of came in at the last minute and said, okay, we'll do it. Now people are upset because they didn't do the XFi token. Well, how long does it go and how deep does it go? Now, I understand people being frustrated about this, Jeff, but it's a business practice, and I know personally, I mean, I may have lost out myself. Other people may have, but you have to understand that these exchanges, look, they're running a business over there. And if they said they were going to participate in one part of it, they did. So you can't go like, oh, but there's another part. Oh, but there's this other token and this other. And what are they supposed to do? They're supposed to set up developers to put attention and time on this. So that's the part I think people are forgetting about. I think the emotion is sort of overrunning a little bit. And now, to your point, Jeff, that you made there is that we did read about Solo the other night, where there were 3 big exchanges that did get the drop that were not participating, and Solo did the right thing on that Solo drop and said, guess what? You're not getting them. That's it. You're not going to get it because there's millions, 24 million tokens, and they were not going to participate. Now that is a bad look right there. That is evil. And we don't know who they were. We just know that this went down. But again, to me, Jeff, I mean, your thoughts on that? I mean, that's a whole other thing right there.
Yeah, well, that's the question. So if they're positioning themselves to accept the airdrop, right? There has to be something that's going on behind the scenes for them to have created a trust line or a wallet or something to be able to take advantage of all the assets that are being registered or held in their in their hot wallet, cold wallet, however we want to look at it. Now they're getting an airdrop. If it's based on the holdings of their clients, they, in my opinion, have an obligation then to pass along each one of these individual clients' benefit, from that airdrop. However, if they're getting benefit outside of their clients' holdings, meaning their own holdings, and they're getting the airdrop, then all bets are off. That's their prerogative to do whatever they want with their business. Maybe,
Mm-hmm.
as you had mentioned earlier, part of their business is that they're not going to distribute airdrops. That's a possibility too. And I'm sure there's, certain exchanges out there, and it might be easier, for, let's say, like a Coinbase to say, we're not participating in airdrops, period. If we get the airdrops, we get the airdrops, but as an exchange, they're not going to set up all of the different or go through all the hoops of whatever's needed to easily distribute those airdrops. So I think it has to be clarified up front, because airdrops are part of the known transactional business now within the crypto space. Airdrops are a reality. So an exchange needs to be very clear when you're holding your assets on that exchange, and they should come straight out, should be in their terms and conditions. We don't do airdrops, or we do certain airdrops,
Yeah, but they already
based
announced the
on
ones.
a certain approval process.
Right, they announced it, but that comes down to this, Jeff. Like, this is Rob McDermott saying this stuff gets complicated, but if you want the upside, then educate yourself. Be flipping accountable, people. And
That's the end of the day. I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And I'll take it a step further. Is like, well, what are you doing with your crypto on exchanges in the first place? Why don't you have a cold storage wallet? And why aren't you being responsible and then going ahead and making sure that you have done the work necessary to be able to receive the tokens? But no, you want the devs over there at the exchange, when they agreed to the top token and they throw in all these other tokens, not the responsibility. It really isn't. I know that might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm looking at this from a business perspective, and the fact that they said yes to the flare, and someone like Uphold and Bitrue said yes to Songbird, but Coinbase said nothing. I mean, I think the downside there is they should have said, hey guys, we've chosen not to participate. Being silent isn't the right thing to do either, but they should have been upfront. But they already were. They said, hey, we're gonna honor the Spark token, but the Spark token hasn't started being distributed yet. So there has to be I worry more about people keeping their keys on the exchanges, and it's better, everything's stored on the blockchain, but your keys that you have in your personal control is what you control. And if you control your destiny, then go ahead and do what's necessary to receive the drops. Simply said. I mean, it's just the way it works.
And you can set that up. So you can set the drops
Right.
up to connect with your ledger, and I think the majority of them, allowed for that. You can put them over on Bifrost. You can put them over on Zum. You can set up the trust lines. If you want to participate in airdrops, you can go that route. I look back on other airdrops throughout the past couple years, and some exchanges, like even I think Coinbase, had participated in some of the Bitcoin forks and airdrops, etc. And so, or I guess there are more forks than airdrops. So that's maybe a distinction also, that it forked and you got extra asset because they decided they were going to carry that part of the fork. But I think, you brought up a solid point. I'm seeing, these comments here, people need to be able to take responsibility, for if they want to participate financially and gain a benefit from the airdrop, then do what's necessary. None of these exchanges really owe anybody a specific duty. It's just the only issue that I have is whether or not they're getting benefit. If they're holding your asset and they're getting full benefit off that asset, and they're not sharing that benefit with you, but then about it in advance. It's not like it's a big secret, right? If you're over on Uphold, for instance, and they decide they're not going to participate, then you're getting zero. It's simple. If you're on Coinbase and they're not participating with a Songbird airdrop, you're getting zero. It's very, very straightforward, and so Bitrue and some of the others have said that they will, and that's it. So I like what Alan says here.
Yeah, he said he used his Zum in his ledger. No solo yet, but anyone see? No, the drop actually happens on January 20th, so that's why you haven't received it. But again, that's how you'd be responsible. Why would you rely on somebody else to wonder if they're going to do it for you? It's not their responsibility; it's yours. So enough said on that, Jeff. I wanted to. You got anything else more to that? I want to segue into this other topic here.
Other than that, I think Gary was super stoked about all these XRP airdrops.
Oh,
you see how fired up he was?
Fired up, man. Yeah,
And he had his flannels on.
His
He had his
wallet,
hat turned sideways. He had his
XRP.
wallet going. He was ready, looking at his watch, like, where the heck is my airdrop? Now he's fired up.
So this is a really good, thoughtful tweet here. This is from Julia12. She says, my advice for once crypto reaches the lows of the cycle, pick 4 or 5 coins you believe in and buy small amounts each month. Regulations are inevitable, but crypto's not going to zero. Just ask yourself this: if the people had no power, would there be an Uber or an Airbnb? Big hotel lobby, municipalities, and the taxi industry selling those medallions. Remember, you had to buy a medallion to have a taxi in New York. It was anywhere from $250,000 up to $500,000, and people bought those over like a 20-year period. So just so they could drive a taxi. This is the kind of city New York is. In case anyone's wondering, this is what they did to their taxi drivers. And even though they had those medallions for sale, big money couldn't stop the people. Big money's just working on deals that allow them to profit the most because that's what they do. So DC8, it's coming. So I like that. It's a very thoughtful tweet right there.
I think that's a solid point, and that's the thing. We've been decentralizing, for a while. I like the example of Airbnb and Uber. I think that's a solid example of how, even though it's a centralized, both are centralized owned companies, based on a corporate structure. However, they gave individuals an opportunity to earn in a way that they would never have had that opportunity prior to. And it was amazing with Uber, the number of people, at least in that we saw in South Florida, lots and lots of Venezuelans that had come over here, and people that I've spoken with that, they're professionals back home. We see many doctors, lawyers, engineers, and they're working at, levels that are far beneath their education in order to make ends meet, and they find a way, and so that's where being able to drive Uber gave a lot of them the flexibility, to pursue whatever they have to pursue outside of. Some are full time, but it's amazing. It's kind of like, people complained even about Uber when Uber was, charging people 25 cents on the dollar, and you look at what they were getting, right? So if you're able to keep 75%, if you're able to keep 70%, you're able to keep 60% of it, they're giving you a platform in order to accommodate the ride share, right? That's amazing.
Oh, exactly.
And Airbnb, I've used Airbnb virtually, everywhere in the world. And it's amazing, right? I mean, it's unbelievable that I can rent somebody's house and I can, change homes like every couple days, even every night as you're traveling. You can check in almost like it's a hotel.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's amazing to me. And these are people renting their homes. And that was the beginning. So that's why I think that tweet resonates so much. And then, Chip, just final word on this, but as I look at the crypto space, is the exact same thing. It's been giving people an opportunity to generate revenue and make money
exactly
where they wouldn't have had it before.
Oh, well said. And there's this something said in the matter. It's a Joe Rogan clip. It's only a minute long, but again, I love what Joe Rogan's talking about here. Let's just put this on. Let's see. If you don't hear it, let me know. But here we go.
As they say, Bitcoin fixes this. If you can fix the money, that's the broken part. The money system is broken. It causes the inflation. It causes the misery. It causes wars because it's linked to oil. So we have to go protect all that shit. It's fucked up. The dollar. I love America. We used to have our own. The banks would create dollars. They were promissory notes until this Federal Reserve Act came into play. It was a takeover. That's what Kennedy was talking about. The power that is unspoken by man. It's this banking system. If we continue to be in that, we're just
beep.
Yeah, and I have a lot of hope for cryptocurrencies. I really do. I don't know too much about them, but Bitcoin seems to be the one, in the Ethereum, the ones that the people who are in the know talk about the most. And my point is that what we're seeing right now, it's either going to go one way or the other. It's either going to fall apart completely, or we're going to use this as an opportunity to right the ship and come up with a better way to live our lives. It's going to be one of the other.
Man,
One or the other,
that's solid.
Jeff.
It is
right?
one or the other, and right now it's the other. We're moving. We're kind of moving in the, or it's the first, right? They say we're going to use it to right the ship, and we're definitely moving in that direction. We're seeing it all over the world, but look at the pushback. Look at that, Steve. What was his last name?
Hank,
Hanky,
Hanke,
Panky,
Hanky Panky. I don't know what it is. Something like that.
Steven Hanky Panky.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
Something like that.
you look at he's the other side. He's the one that wants to resist. He's the one that's super pro fiat. He's the one that's super pro the old way of doing things. That's how it looks. Could be wrong, but it just, from appearance sake, the way it came out in that attack, very super pro the old way of doing things, because the old way of doing things, they're trying to hold on to, their last bastion of kind of a slush fund. And that all goes away right now as things move forward.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's let's leave on a little solid note right here. This is a little rap here. This is done by the breath in Joe's nostrils. He does these cool little videos. He will tag me in sometimes, and really I like what he's doing. I just love the little rhymes here. But again, it's a little positive message here, and hopefully you guys can hear this. But let's go here.
We on that XRP and Ripple on that XRP. You know we keep it simple. BTC Max is cute like a girl with a dimple. XRP chart finna pop like a pimple. When it comes to reserves, right, you know I keep a fistful. Finna blow up like a Hindenburg blimpster. Many uncertain like the Heisenberg principle, but I zero doubt stack that XRP principle. Listen, sir, Ripple and liquidity corridors, about to change the game like Frodo did to Mordor. About to have a young man chilling out in Bora Bora. Can't wait to pull up to the Shire in an M4. Yeah, we go to war. What the heck you think these ends for? Call me the apprentice David Schwartz, he the mentor. Many horse around cause they think they a centaur, but the wise know what the standard henceforth. XR.
Pay. XRP, Jeff. That was good.
Where do you find that?
I like when he tags me in his stuff. It's good stuff. Puts out these cool rhymes, but he says XRP, he's the apprentice. David Schwartz is the mentor. Horse around enough and you'll play in like a centaur. I mean, who puts centaur in a rhyme, Jeff? That's brilliant. Really love it. It's just really fantastic. But yeah, I thought we'd leave on a somewhat of a positive note there. But
hey, what is that? What's the XLM airdrop people are referencing?
I'm not sure about that, Jeff. That's a good question, but that's another one where probably people won't get it. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Or run around. I'm seeing here a wallet called Lobster and all sorts of stuff. And man,
I don't know. It's too much to keep up with, to be honest with you. But good for them if they're
too much. Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah,
chasing the green candles.
Yeah, I mean, if you're let's see. Oh, there's one more.
The Aqua airdrop snapshot is on January 15th.
Okay, there you go.
But the question is, which wallet?
That's a good one, Jeff. We'll have to investigate that one because I'm not 100% sure.
Someone's gonna throw it in here in a minute.
Look, you know who that is. That's Sam Bankman-Fried. Coolest here in crypto.
Dude, that guy's awesome.
He's awesome. FTX Arena, awesome. Where the Miami Heat play in Miami, by the way. It's turning into Miami. But look at this headline right here. This is fantastic. He says that in a crypto crash, the coins with the best real use cases and loyal followings will survive the best, according to FTX's Sam Bankman-Fried.
I agree with that.
I agree with it too. Best use cases, not about the pumps and the dumps and the this and that, and get rich quick and who's going to trade in and out of something. But no, it actually serves a purpose and has a use case. So that's what it's all about, Jeff.
Lobster. Animal 54 said Lobster Aqua.
There you go.
I'd go with Lobster, but any XLM
Rock
wallet.
Lobster.
Stellar X works too. Oh, so any XLM wallet.
Okay, gotcha.
So do you have to establish a trust line, or you basically just move your asset over there and they take the snapshot of the wallet and you're good to go? I don't know.
Yeah, good to go. Jeff, when do we stream live?
Chip, we stream live 6 days a week. So if you're brand new here, make sure you mark it down on your calendar. We stream Sunday. We stream Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out the website. So if you don't remember, say, I wonder when those guys stream. Well, if you go to onthechain.io, that's really cool because you can go over there, you can see when we're streaming live, and you can also go check out our previous videos, which is really cool. And if you want to listen to it in podcast format, you can do that as well. You can get a whole list, and we even sort it out based on interviews. So if you said, hey, I know those guys had an interview with Alex Mashinsky or Warren Davidson or Congressman Tom Emmer or one of the many cool people out there, you can go over, or Matt Hamilton from Ripple, and there's a lot of cool things that you can do. Look at that. Look at all those cool interviews. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit, let's see, where is it? Boom, there it is. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, the thumbs up, and hit the bell notifier. That way you get notified 30 minutes before we stream live every single time, which is really cool. And by far, Chip, you know what? We have the best, the smartest, and the brightest right here in
on the chain in chat. Yeah,
on the chain in the chat. And Rob McDermott says, show sounds much better when I'm wearing my OTC hoodie. We haven't shouted out our store that much, but if you go into the link below, you can go check it out. And we even have some on the chain gear that you guys can find. Just go into the description below and you'll find links over there. And soon, at some point, we'll have that linked over on the website as well. So we actually remember to let everybody know that we have some merch out there. So, which is very, very cool.
Which is just simply on the chain.shop. You guys want to check out the cool hoodies there? I'll go ahead and throw that up there. Boom.
Sweet.
You can see some of the cool
that's
stuff.
It. Yeah, and that's it. We'll be back here tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And that's it. We're out. See you guys on the next one.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.